Let's have a look at this letter from Wilde to Dearest Bosie. You can see it says at the top. Bosie was Lord Alfred Douglas, an Oxford undergraduate who met Wilde, and the two had a passionate relationship. It's not clear whether they were lovers yet at the time this letter was written, which was probably in late 1892. But this letter is significant because it's the earliest surviving letter from Wilde to Bosie, and he wrote many letters to Bosie. This is the first letter to document one of the most famous relationships in history, and certainly one of the most tragic. Now, Bosie said that he destroyed all the letters that he had received from Wilde. Now, some of them he sold to a London dealer, Bernard Quaritch, and all of those ended up in the Clark Library at UCLA. Aside from the letters from Wilde to Bosie that are at UCLA, there are virtually no letters from Wilde to Bosie out there in other institutions. So the surfacing of this earliest letter is quite significant. And we can see that it's written on letterhead with the letters AC embossed at the top. That stands for Albemarle Club, Wilde's London club. And at the top, Wilde has scrawled, "Love to Encombe." And Encombe was Bosie's roommate on High Street in Oxford. The letter begins, "Dearest Bosie, I'm so glad you're better and that you like the little card case. Oxford is quite impossible in winter." You can see Wilde doesn't get too many words on a page. He has this very quick way of writing, and the word impossible is broken up a little bit, and it's barely legible if you're not familiar with Wilde's hand. So Wilde had obviously given a card case to Bosie as a present, and the letter goes on to say, "I would very much like to go away with you somewhere where it is hot and colored." So although we don't know whether Wilde and Bosie were lovers yet at the time this letter was written, it's clear that there was a deep attraction between the two already. Wilde then goes on to talk about how he's rushing up to London all the time to meet with Tree. And Tree was Herbert Beerbohm Tree, who was a great actor-manager at the time. And Wilde was writing a play for him, A Woman of No Importance, so they were meeting. So the letter makes reference to this very early play of Wilde's. And Wilde's greatest plays were all written during the time when he was involved with Bosie. So this great passion coincided with a period of enormous creativity for him. It's wonderful to add this earliest surviving letter from Wilde to Bosie to the Morgan's collection. It makes an interesting companion to a letter that's in the Morgan's collection, the only surviving letter of any substance from Wilde to his wife, Constance. And that love letter is also very passionate. And it reads, in part, "The air is full of the music of your voice. My soul and body seem no longer mine, but mingled in some exquisite ecstasy with yours. I feel incomplete without you. Ever and ever yours, Oscar."